Okay, welcome everyone to our Q2 webinar. Today we're going to be talking about leveling up your events with priority and beyond. Oops, dropped a slide there. Okay, so firstly, I am Nicola. I'm a product manager here at Liveheats. I'm going to be your host today, and you're going to hear from a few others in the team as well. So here's our agenda. First up, you'll hear from Maka and Marc. Marc is the club president of Woonoona Boardriders, and Marc will be having a nice fireside chat with him all about bringing priority, all about how he brought priority to his club. We'll then move on to Mel. Mel is one of our product designers, and she will be talking all about priority on Liveheats, and also talking about our scoring judge enhancements. We'll then drop over to me for a bonus feature update on all of our features, and then we'll have Q&A at the end for 5 minutes. So anyway, with that, actually, can't forget questions. If you have got any questions, please drop them in Slido. You'll see this QR code on every slide. Yeah, just follow the instructions and then add your questions at any time as we're going through, and we'll get to them at the end. So with that, Marc, I'm going to pass over to you.
Amazing. Thanks, Nick. Great to be here. Thanks for everyone for joining. Super thrilled to have Marc Robson join us from Woonoona Boardriders. Actually, very closely related. I grew up in Wollongong, so close to home for me. Just around the corner was my rival club of East Corrimal. Marc and the team at Woonoona have been, a huge supporter of our system for many years now, and we wanted to get them on the call to just understand the landscape of priority and how they've been able to manage and navigate that over the years, and what it's looked like and what it's gone to. And we're going to take a bit of a deep dive for 10 minutes or so, and super thankful for having you on, Marc.
Absolute pleasure.
Great for you to be here. So just a couple of questions, I guess from the top. Why did you want to bring well, obviously you're using Liveheats, but why did you want to use and bring priority to your events? Maybe, some of the events around the country aren't even yet running priority. So it's a big step forward and a big leap forward, understanding why that was.
Well, it's twofold, Maka. Firstly, to help the juniors get educated in what it's like in regional events, state events and national events, we wanted to put priority in so they have basically good practice to move forward and progress, etc. The second part was, within our club, we have some very significant, how do I put it, snakers. To put it, there's no other
we all
way.
know some, maybe. That's okay.
Yeah. And there was a lot of feedback in regards to, guys that have really good ability, but they just couldn't out paddle some of these particular guys that would just keep paddling on the inside, etc. So, it was voted by our club to bring it in, which I thought was great. It was well before I came on board as president, but, one of the key problems that we have is significant vegetation in front of where we set up, and it was pretty hard to see. But they're the two reasons why we had to do it. It would take 3 or 4 people with flags, etc., to, so that surfers in the water could see over the vegetation and see what colours had priority and second priority and so on. But yeah, they're the two main reasons why we brought priority into the club.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's great to hear that you're setting those guys up for success and maybe enabling some others for success along the way by getting the waves that they so deserve. You mentioned that briefly, taking a look here at one of the earlier photos. This looks like a lot of manpower. Just run us through when you started using priority, how long it's been going for, and what that transitions look like now into the digital age.
Yeah, so we started using priority. I've got a key person that's really the background for our club. He's on board. He's watching it now, Jason Badger. And he, he's a little bit camera shy, poor fella. But I think we brought her on board about 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago now. And we were struggling with using flags. As you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3 guys. There's probably 4 or 5 that we'd have to have in play most of the time to move those flags around. So yeah, it's been about 4 years. And you know, one of the key aspirations that we had as a committee and also for the club was to bring in a nice new LED screen that, you know, would cost a fair bit of money, but put it up somewhere that is easily visible out in the surf, and take away that manpower that we just, you know, it's hard to get volunteers all the time, and it's a hard job. It's a hard job. Hope that's answered your question, Maka.
No, yeah, it shows where it's come, and I guess the next question is sort of where it's heading and where you've been fortunate enough to take it. With the help of the surf club on site, you've got these LED panels now, only in need of really one person operating the system. Love to hear, you know, how Liveheats has helped achieve that and what the outcomes are for your competitions in general. Are people having better time surfing? Have you noticed, you know, a heightened sense of engagement, anything like that?
Oh, look, I think, you know, having the digital screens up there, one of the challenges that we've got with it is mobility, you know, and putting it into a framework that's easily set up and packed down. But that's an aside to Liveheats. It was a no-brainer for us to use Liveheats and use it seamlessly with that. In fact, the reason why I came up with the digital screens, and you know, it's not something that I designed from scratch. There was stuff on the shelf basically, and a particular company that developed scoreboards for, and I'm happy to supply the name of the company, and they'd be more than willing to support you guys on developing, you know, similar screens elsewhere. But they did cricket scoreboards, footy scoreboards, all that sort of stuff. So, you know, I was designing those screens in light of the Liveheats priority system so that we could just seamlessly engage it through. They wanted us to use something else, the manufacturers of the screens, but you know, our committee, the people that run the events, we felt it was just, you know, a perfect no-brainer to use the Liveheats priority system.
Awesome. And for some of your athletes, how are they feeling with the introduction of this? Like, obviously, yeah, it'd be good to know maybe a little bit how they used to engage with it, with the feather flags that we saw on the previous slide, through the bush and shrubbery on the sand, compared to what it is like now. What sort of positive impact that might have had on the competitor experience?
Oh, look, the feedback that we had with the flags was, look, it was very difficult for them to see quite often, you know, whether it was shades of light, you know, sunlight bouncing off, whatever. Some people are color challenged, particularly Jason Badger and myself. So, you know, you couldn't quite tell if it was red or green or whatever it was. At the end of the day, having it up in the window, and we're developing possibly a gantry type system where we're raising it up on a separate trailer that we could use to just basically wind it up and have it exposed. But in saying that, the surfers that have, you know, been competing have given us great feedback and said that it's just so easily seen from the water. Some of them don't even realize it's on. As much as we tell them it's on, it's happening, and there's the priority up in the screen. But once they do realize, they say it's fantastic. They just don't have any issue. They can see it really well. With the person, and this has gone from 4 people down to 1 person, right? So, for instance, we've got one key person in the tent that's actually, and it's an extremely hard job, priority judging. One person in the tent that is actually just using a separate iPad and just going through the motions of setting priority. It's really, really easy. It takes it away. Even with the old system of boards and panels, etc., it's much easier than that. You don't have to move around anything. You just tap, move the colors around, etc. X, hit the X, etc. And basically it's just eyes on the water and off you go.
Well, hopefully it's helped with some of your snaking and dropping in over the years. I don't want to steal Mel, who is coming up, our product designer soon, but it is going to be a free feature now that we're offering, and we have made some serious enhancements to it. So hopefully what you think is easy is going to become even more seamless. Before I let you go, Mark, and I know you generously offered to stay around to the end to answer any questions that may have come through. Once again, they're on the each of the pages throughout this slide deck here. Any parting words of wisdom to organisers on their priority journey, wherever they may be, from novice to pro?
Just take action. You know, if you've got a gut feeling that you do need to put this in place, whether it's priority or you're looking at screens or whatever, one of the key challenges in a volunteer type club, a not-for-profit organisation, is look, we've got to prioritise work, family, etc. That's all good, and you need to, but at the end of the day, if you've got a really good team around you and you can prioritise, you know, just getting people to get the job done, which has been an amazing part of my experience with Woonoona Boardriders, and just take those next steps. Just get the key people to take those next steps to get the priority system running, get the digital screens, try it out, see what you need to do to raise the money to buy these things, whether it's digital screens or whatever you need to use. But at the end of the day, it'll only happen if there's engaged people within the club and the committee is moving forward. But don't even you know, restrict yourself to the committee. There's wonderful club members that are very good club people that will step in if you need them to.
Thank you. Yeah, some great insight there. I'm sure there's a lot of people here that will find that extremely useful, maybe something they weren't even considering, and now looking at the ease of use and the free use might be something that they will look at in the future. So thanks again, Mark. Truly appreciate your time. And pleasure. I'm sure there may be some questions at the end, but this is a timely point for me to pass over to Mel, our product designer here at Liveheats, and she's going to run you through a little bit what I alluded to around a lot of the product improvements that we have made just recently, and we're super excited to announce. So I won't steal any more of her thunder as I welcome Mel.
Thanks so much, Macca. And yeah, thanks, Mark, again. That was awesome to hear, and really excited to talk through more about priority within the Liveheats system. So yeah, at Liveheats, we have supported priority judging for some time now, and we know it's crucial for fair and efficient competition, just like we've heard. And as priority becomes more and more widely used, as we've also heard, we decided it was time for a powerful update. And this is all in line with our core mission to provide pro tools to all levels of competition, whether you're running a local Boardriders event or a major international contest anywhere in the world. So today, I'm really excited to share a few enhancements with you. And also, just a note to begin with, to make sure we got this right, we did collaborate closely with Kerry Powell. I think Kerry might even be on the call. She's a leading judge, priority judge in Europe. And with Kerry's expertise, we reviewed our existing system and critically made the move to add suspended priority. You'll now see this introduced as an S button right in the middle of the priority judges screen. And for those who are wondering why would this be important, imagine a surfer has priority and they get washed out of the lineup by a big set, or maybe they drift out of the primary takeoff zone, something that can happen a lot, especially in stormy or challenging conditions. So with a single tap of this new S button, the priority judge can suspend that athlete's priority. Their position is essentially frozen while all other athletes continue competing, and it keeps the heat flowing without unfairly penalising an athlete due to conditions. Then if that suspended athlete makes it back to the takeoff zone in time, the priority judge can simply tap that S button again, and boom, their original priority position is instantly restored. However, if they don't make it back in a timely manner, their position can be cleared by tapping the X button. And speaking of that X button, while we were here focusing on improving priority, we also made a small but mighty update. The X button is now the full width of that box, making it so much larger than it was previously. It was a little bit too small before. And now it's much easier to hit accurately. You can almost tap it with a blindfold on. This might seem like minor detail, but it's directly tied to our mantra of helping judges keep their eyes on the water, not fumbling with the screen. And like Marc said, being a priority judge is a really challenging job. So every detail we refine, even down to the button size, is in service of supporting those judges. I'd love to show you how this looks in action. So here on the left, we can see the priority judges screen. The judge is assigning athletes into priority positions. You can see them tapping to set position 1, 2, and so on. They might even use that new S button if someone moves outside the takeoff zone. And then on the right, you can see that this is reflected instantly on the big screen view. This is what athletes in the water will see, as well as coaches and spectators on the beach. Everyone knows exactly what position a surfer has and what the overall priority situation is in real time. But the visibility doesn't stop there. This information is automatically displayed to all scoring judges, a head judge if you have one, to the public scores online, and even pushed to live stream broadcast if you're using it. So there are many benefits to a clear digital priority system, both on the beach and for everyone following along online, wherever they are. And now, more than ever, it's incredibly simple to set up. As Mac has said, we are going to be introducing, or we have introduced priority as a free inclusion. And coming soon, you'll be able to set this up within your event settings. So all totally free, and that includes access to showing priority on a big LED display. Setting it up will be super easy. Once you toggle on priority judge in your event settings, you'll instantly get a link to your priority judge page for your judge to use on their tablet or device. And then you'll have another link to connect to your LED screen or any big screen to show the priority panels. Everything else happens automatically from there. Just like the rest of Liveheats, it's designed to be plug and play. So with these recent improvements, our priority system is a world-class solution that's been built with direct input from experienced judges, specifically for real-world surf competition conditions. Just want to give another massive shout out to Kerry for her invaluable input in co-designing these upgrades. We're super pumped to get this into your hands, and building on some of the tips and tricks and reasons Marc shared earlier, I think you should definitely make it your priority to check out the new judging improvements on Liveheats. Just a reminder here as well, if you do have any questions, pop those into Slido so that we can respond to those at the end. Okay, speaking of judge improvements, our commitment to refining the judging experience doesn't stop with priority. We know scoring and judging is demanding and stressful and often thankless, but we know as well that without judges, we wouldn't have surf competitions at all. So given that judges are so crucial, we've listened and learned from judges at all levels to see how we could help. So from talking with judges and observing events, we saw an opportunity to make the Liveheats scoring system a simpler one and much clearer. And we set ourselves a goal to provide a best-in-class scoring system to help boost the speed, accuracy, and the overall quality of live scoring. And in line with thanking Kerry earlier, before I get into this, I just want to give a special thanks to all the WSL ISA national, state, and local judges who've guided us along the way and shared feedback throughout this process, particularly to Johnny from the Costa Rican Surfing Association and Glenn and the Surfing Australia and ABB team. Now, let's see what we are talking about and what this means for scoring judges. One of the loudest pieces of feedback that we consistently hear across the board is your love for the simplicity of Liveheats, and we love hearing that and keep it coming. But we haven't forgotten that with any updates to these areas of the platform. So to begin with, we've simplified your daily setup. The logged in judge is now front and center on the screen before the heat starts. So you can see that Judge 1 is logged in on this device. This makes it incredibly easy to organize your judging tablets in panel order. And if your judges are logged in, it also will show, with their own account, it'll also show their name on the device as well, instead of Judge 1, Judge 2, and so on. So if judges need to swap places between heats or divisions, they can instantly find their designated tablet. Once the heat begins, you'll also notice a simpler, more space-saving overview. We've designed it so the timer and priority information are always clearly visible front and center, making it easier to keep up with the action throughout the heat. We've also given the scoring buttons a boost. You'll now see distinct colored buttons for each competitor: red, white, yellow, blue, and so on. And this makes it significantly faster and more intuitive to select the correct surfer, which directly improves accuracy and speed. The goal here is to reduce the number of errors and keep the competition flowing smoothly. And yes, we've made sure to consider that these buttons are more fat finger friendly, so you know that is important. This might seem small, but it is crucial. It all ties back to our mantra of helping judges keep their eyes on the water and not fumbling around with the screen. We're also making it easier to keep up with waves in the heat of the moment. The system will now immediately highlight any missing scores, so you can quickly address them even in a flurry of waves. Applying modifiers is another area we've improved, while not used too much, and they are a bit awkward to apply at the moment. We've decided to streamline them to make it more direct and intuitive to apply modifiers when needed. And if your connection drops, which unfortunately happens from time to time, we've made the offline indicator much clearer. And instead of just a subtle red outline around a score, it will now specifically state that it's offline, so you know what's happening and you can fix the situation. And by the way, we always save your scores, even if you're offline on your device, until you go back online, so nothing is lost. One big one is that we're bringing to you new is that we're increasing the amount of data at your fingertips. So this major update is the ability for scoring judges to see total averages once scores are publicly viewable, and importantly, which waves are counting towards an athlete's result. This gives scoring judges the same view of results as the public and helps in referencing counting scores without relying so heavily on memory. All these improvements will also feed directly into enhancing our tag team format. And you can see a preview here of what we're planning to update for that view, including a clearer individual scorecard for each athlete. So to quickly recap of what's new and coming soon for our scoring judges, we have a clearer setup screen with prominent judge names, large colored buttons for faster, more accurate input, more optimized use of space, and a more natural view of priority. Easier application of modifiers and quicker visibility of missing scores, clear offline status, now visibility of average scores and counting waves, and an overall clearer view for scoring judges. These updates are currently in active development, and our team is working incredibly hard to bring these to you. And we'll send out a big update via email as soon as they're released and ready for you to use. We truly believe these changes will provide a clearer, better, and more efficient experience for scoring judges at all levels. And we're excited to continue being a part of your journey in delivering fantastic surf competitions. Thanks very much, and over to you, Nick, for the bonus feature showcase.
Amazing. Thank you, Mel. I'm sure you will all agree. It's great to see so many updates for the scoring judge experience. However, as you're about to find out, we're not stopping there today. I've got 6 additional new features to share with you that are almost all, apart from one of them, ready live and ready to use. And they are sure to level up all of your events for everyone involved. So without further ado, let's share them. So firstly, I want to introduce our digital siren. So we know that getting a timer attached to a horn is hard. So we wanted to make it as seamless as possible. With our digital siren, you don't need a beach timer at all. You can run 100% digital. All you need to do is connect your laptop or phone to your beach PA system, and it will automatically sound at the start, a 5-minute warning, and then at the end of the heats. We also have pausing heats. And while we hope that you don't need to use this super often, we understand that in unforeseen circumstances, you need to know exactly where this is. So you'll now be able to find this, the pause button at the bottom of the screen after starting a heat. So it's easy to access if and when needed. Next up, we have improved series management. So we know as the years go on and you have more and more rankings and membership series, it's hard to manage them for yourselves and also for your athletes to find their rankings. So with that, we have introduced series grouping. This allows you to group series by whatever category you want, for example, year. And these groups then display in your director view. And for any ranking series, they will also appear on the public rankings page so your athletes can find their rank easily. Whew, there you go. 3 down, 3 to go. And next up, we have our new and improved event calendar. You'll be very excited to know that your organization's public event calendar is now automatically sorted into upcoming and past events. And also past events are split into months and years. So no more endless scrolling to find the event that you or your athletes are looking for. Now, carrying on with the theme of public improvements, I'm very excited to announce, and this is something that the team is also very excited ourselves about this one. So excited to introduce search by location. So you can now search for, or very soon, as next week, you'll be able to search for any event or organization on Liveheats by location, which for sure will increase the discoverability of your events and maybe even boost your registrations. So yeah, super excited about that one. Okay, now last but not least, we are very excited to share our last bonus feature, which is a personalized homepage. We know that athletes and spectators are constantly going back to the same pages on Liveheats, meaning they're searching and researching over and over again. So this new feature now streamlines all that, and it automatically saves your recently viewed events, rankings, divisions, organizations right to your Liveheats homepage for a complete personalized experience. Whew. There you go. Let's take a break. Let's just take all of it in. Okay. Let's have a bit of a recap. So we've got through a lot in half an hour. So we've had our fireside chat with Mark. We've heard from Mel on priority and Liveheats and also the scoring judge enhancements. And then I've whipped through those 6 bonus features there. So get your questions into Slido. But before we do that, I'm just going to say a huge thank you. So all of the updates that we've shared today, as Mel has also mentioned as well, they have directly stemmed from the incredible conversations we've had with organisers, athletes, judges, and spectators. And we truly appreciate all of them taking the time to help us understand their pain points, dig into your workflows, and listen to their ideas. So honestly, without these valuable insights, we wouldn't be able to evolve our software to support the evolution of your sport and community. So huge thank you to everyone involved. Okay, let's add your questions in. We have got three questions. I'm going to share them. I'm just going to switch over. Let's see. Hopefully I can do this seamlessly. There we go. Okay, let's start with the ones for Mark first. So let's do the bottom one. Where do you guys store the LEDs between events?
Yeah, we've got a storage facility that we actually put them in very secure boxes on wheels, well, cases, I should say, and then we store them in a storage facility. Yeah, we've got to store them. It's actually just in two boxes, I think probably 1 meter by 0.5 meter wide, and we can roll them around. It's not too much weight in it. 2 people need to lift each box if we take them up the stairs in the surf club and then back down the stairs. It's not a major deal.
Great, thank you, Mark. Let's stick with you. What have we got here? Is it much work setting up and packing down the screens for every event?
Look, it is at the moment, because we haven't got a set framework and the trailer that I was talking about at the beginning. So we built a timber frame that we could set up on tables within the surf club so that it's viewed out the window. So it does take, initially it took us too long. It's about half an hour worth of setup, but obviously we got to pull those screens out of the storage facility, drive them to the surf club. We've got to keep them stored in a very dry and non-salt spray sort of area. But now it probably takes us about half an hour to set up. And we normally do it the night before. So it's still not ideal. We need to actually fine tune that with and we're working on a trailer type plan where we've got a gantry set up and we wind up the screens and we leave them there in situ permanently.
Okay, thank you. There's a few more coming in for you. Very popular. Do you have a dedicated priority judges, or can anyone volunteer?
Look, we'd like anybody to volunteer. However, we've got those key experienced people that understand what what priority judging is all about. You know, when we have new people come in, we get the experienced guys and girls to show them exactly how it's done. It's crucial that we get it right. If you get priority wrong, there's all sorts of blow-ups from as people come up out of their heats, etc. So we've got to make sure that we get it right. But initially, it was those dedicated, experienced judges that we had on it. But we're trying to roll that out to more volunteers within the club.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Thank you. I am going to guess that this one is also for you.
Oh, the price. Yeah. Okay, so it depends on how big you want to go. We went pretty full on, and we had a significant fund drive or fundraiser that we did to spend. Basically, we spent about $11,500 on these LEDs. It was quite expensive. But it's there to last quite a long time. But you don't have to spend that sort of money. You can have a smaller setup. You can have 3 screens. You can have 2 screens, etc. It just depends on how it's viewed from the water. You can take it down towards, you know, on the beach and have it set up within a tent, etc. And you could have it much closer than what we're privy to at the moment. So, you know, it's well worth just delving into the companies that do make these digital screens and see what's within your budget and go from there. But it did cost us a fair bit because we were happy to go that extra mile. We had an event that we wanted to make a huge impact on, which was the Ocean Queen Classic last year, and we've had our second one this year, and we wanted to make it as professional as much like the WSL as possible.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here as well. Bring that, full experience to the local level. Incredible. Okay, I think that appears to be all the ones for you, Mark. Mel, are you cool to take this one? How do we connect the digital siren to our speakers?
Yes, sure. So you'll just need to, depending on your setup, you can either plug in directly with a cable from your device. So you could use a laptop, tablet, phone, whatever you've got to log into Liveheats, and plug that into your speaker system. Or you could connect via Bluetooth if you have that functionality on your speakers as well. And then as you start the heats, it's going to automatically play the siren through that connected device, as long as you've unmuted that particular device that is connected to the speakers.
Awesome.
Mel, sticking with you, I'm going to this one here. Just, you can use the TV screens, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mark might also be good to advise on that one, because I think it's all about visibility for the surfers and what they can see from however far, like wherever they're actually catching waves from. So I guess it depends on your beach. But yeah, do you have anything to add there, Mark?
Yeah, I do. TV screens would work. The only issue that we found with TV screens, not that we use them, but they have a limitation on how bright they can go. So if you're on a sunny day, the TV screens would probably be a little hard to see. The screens that we purchased, and I've forgotten the amount of lumens or whatever it's called, I'm not sure, but it's the amount of brightness that they emit, even when the sun is shining on them. If you've got bright sunshine on a TV screen, it may not be easily visible from the water. That's the only advice that I can give in regards to that.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to answer this one here. So, when will the app be available for athletes to use? That's not part of these updates. So yeah, no app at the moment. All the features that we on the public facing side are available and you can use on mobile. But no app as of yet, but it's definitely something that we are talking about a lot, and we'll hopefully have a more concrete plan for when that would be coming in the future, but nothing to share as of yet, unfortunately. But stay tuned, keep asking the question. I'm going to answer this one now. So, can we implement series grouping now in the middle of a series, and will that include previously ran events? Yes, so you can do it at any time. All your previous series, you can group any new ones. Yeah, doesn't matter when you group them. So yeah, check that out. Mel, are you okay to take this one, the last one here? So is that automatic, the siren turns on in 5 minutes?
Yeah, so the siren, that'll depend on the schedule and the settings that you have put for your divisions and durations. And so what will happen is at the start of every heat, the siren will sound once. And when there's 5 minutes remaining for that heat, there'll be a little jingle. And at the end of the heat, the siren will sound twice. So that'll happen based on the schedule that you've created in Liveheats. Macca, do you want to add something?
I have a question for Mark, actually.
Sure.
Do you think that there would be enough benefit out of board rider clubs banding together to purchase some priority system, given that they may not necessarily run their events on the same day? Do you think there's enough value that they might only get priority 3 times a year when they're sharing it across the club rounds to make it a little bit more cost effective?
Yeah, that's a really good idea. That certainly would work. Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind is we have club championships, and considering sometimes we can't get access to the surf club And so we go without priority, you know, for a smaller point score event, but for our club championships, we always have priority, and, you know, and that's 3 times a year. So if clubs band together, obviously, if you've got 4 clubs that are banding together, 12,000 divided by 4, you know, that's $3,000 investment each club makes. It makes sense. It would work. Most clubs don't have their point score or their event Sunday or Saturday on the same days across the region. They generally have them separated, or at least in our region, we do. So I think that will work really well.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
That's all from me.
Okay. Well, if there is no more questions, then thank you very much, everyone. You all got something to take away from this, and are excited to make priority your priority.